Okay, so it started. Started recording.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything pop up for? Oh no, sorry. YouTube. Oh, you see? Oh, let me refresh it again. Oh shit, where's your YouTube again? Oh, you're chilling. This is chilling. Okay, it's working. Cool. We can start. All right.
Sir,
Have to check some little.
I should be like, yo, you got
Yeah. I have to make sure everything is cool. All right, we're in position. All right, guys. Welcome back to the show. Well, I just want to make sure these mics so you can hear us. Oh shit, mine is not glowing. Wait, let me press this again. See here, yeah, press yours. Yeah, there we go. You're good.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to the show. It's been a minute, but there's been a bit of a rebrand for the channel. You know what I'm saying? We're focusing a lot more on like fitness and self-improvement kind of content. Make sure you click that link in the description down below if you're looking for, one-on-one coaching. If that interests you, we'll book a call and we'll see if it makes sense to work together. But is there anything else we need to mention? No, with that being said, let's just jump right into it. We got a special guest here. We got Isiah. You already know what it is.
So,
You want to tell people who you are and all that good stuff?
like I said, my name's Isiah. I'm an MMA fighter and author.
All right. Yeah. So let's see. So when did you start MMA?
I kind of been doing like martial arts since I was a kid, to be honest. I started out wrestling in high school, but even before that, I was always in like taekwondo or karate. But wrestling is kind of where I kind of started taking it a lot more seriously. Did a lot of competition there.
Wrestling?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of tournaments, and then
Oh, you did taekwondo and karate?
yeah,
Oh,
I did that
shit.
for a little bit when I was a kid.
Interesting.
But it wasn't like as competitive though, so I was looking for something a bit more, like, more serious. Right, so that's where wrestling started out, and from wrestling, I was like, you know what, I want more. So when I think I was 15, that's when I joined like my first like MMA like class, and that's where it kind of like went from there. I was like, you know what, I want to be an MMA fighter. So started doing boxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, just put it all together. Started competing. We've been doing it ever since.
Okay, that's a crazy combination. So I want to get into what is the main differences between like karate and like taekwondo?
Honestly, I think Taekwondo, mostly focuses a lot more on like your kicks and like those really cool like stuff you see that's like spinning like back kick and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like Taekwondo is more of like the like kicking martial arts, where like I think karate is definitely like can be pretty competitive.
I feel like the kicks are cooler in taekwondo though.
Yeah, but like taekwondo is okay. Like I don't like to bash like other martial arts, but it's not like, for me it's not like realistic. Like that's why like with like UFC, like a lot of MMA fighters stick with like boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. A lot of them like specialize in those areas. That's because like they work pretty much on a realistic basis of like your technique, right? Where like if you go in an MMA fight just doing fancy dancy kicks, I mean, they can be effective if they're set up right, but like if that's all you have, you're most likely gonna just get taken down and ground and pound,
Yeah.
right?
So you're saying Taekwondo, like in a like a fight situation, like it's not like realistic in a way. Like
I,
you wouldn't think it's valuable to have that skill set in your arsenal.
my opinion, it's not like the best. Um, but if you have a Taekwondo fighter, another Taekwondo fighter, like cool, it could be pretty entertaining
Yeah.
because you know what you're there to expect.
What if you have like you have like Taekwondo and then jujitsu, like you know what I mean? Like you have a multiple. You still have like 3 under your belt. Would you say that's really valuable to have? Like,
So are you saying like if there's like, what if there was a Taekwondo fighter versus like a jujitsu guy?
I'm kind of more talking like from a standpoint of like a fighter who's like he knows jujitsu and he knows Taekwondo. Like he has it in his
Yeah,
arsenal.
that's cool. That's good. I mean, I'm not saying that Taekwondo is bad or like not like a bad thing to not have. I think if
Right.
you have that as a history, it's
Mhm.
good, especially if you know how to set up your kicks
Mm-hmm.
in a MMA fight and you have some jujitsu to back it up. Good on you, actually.
Okay.
And most of those like pretty cool, fancy dancy kicks you see,
Mm-hmm.
like flying like jab kick or whatever, they're all Taekwondo.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, Muay Thai has some really good kicks too. That's where all the power is. But like, I'd say that a lot of snappy kicks are more like the
Taekwondo. And like for karate, like cause yeah, I don't. It's so funny. I only know karate from like just watching like Karate Kid or like Cobra. Do you see Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
Yeah, that show's kind of hard right now. But like I see, like, yeah, I kind of like it goes pretty hard. But like I seen like in the show, they've got some like Miguel, one of the characters, he's got this flying tornado kick kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is that
see,
karate
like you see
or is
that,
that
a lot
or
of
that's-
that in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
But like,
The guy
I don't
was
really
thinking-
know like the history of that kick.
Yeah.
I don't really watch Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
I probably should. I heard
Bro,
it's
it's
pretty
hard.
good.
It's so
hard.
good.
Yeah.
Bro, it's good.
Yeah, I should check it out. Like I've seen a Karate Kid, but like the Karate Kid with like Jaden Smith, like I know it was like karate, but they're like doing kung fu
Yeah.
and stuff.
I think you'll like this because this is the one show where it's like, it's not really, it kind of goes against mainstream media, if that makes sense. Like it kind of like goes against like the main kind of agenda in a way. It pokes fun at it in a funny way. Like I think it's an interesting, it's a breath of fresh air because it's like for the first time, it's like a show that's genuinely telling a good story.
Yeah. Well, like I've never did karate, so I can't really like say anything on that.
Yeah.
But I definitely have like faced a lot of guys who have done like karate. Like I've like sparred with other MMA fighters with like a karate background, and they have it in there.
Oh, okay. Because you said you did Taekwondo and you did like a little bit of karate or like?
Yeah, like I've done like a little bit of it, but I was mostly focused on Taekwondo and wrestling. That's like what I started out with.
Your main focus is okay.
Like, but like I said, like whenever I did like karate and stuff, it was like not. I wasn't technically really in that class. It was more like I'm like just with someone that knows it really well and I'm sparring with them.
So you did Taekwondo more?
Yes, Taekwondo was the first thing I actually ever started out with.
I actually did Taekwondo as well, but like I only made it past. I didn't make it past.
Yeah,
white belt.
like okay, well I made it past like white belt, but like it was mostly like my parents were like, oh, I want him to do like no self defense, so here you go.
How far did you go in Taekwondo?
Like I was in Taekwondo for like a year.
Oh shit! I thought you went up to like black belt.
Oh no, not at all.
No.
No.
Orange belt?
No, bro. I literally had like a white belt and like 3 stripes.
Yeah, that was me too.
See, like I wasn't like all that serious with Taekwondo, but like there also wasn't when I started like getting like I want something serious and more competitive. That's where like MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and like wrestling was just more at it. Like it was more like competitive, more tournaments, and like I didn't want to stick to Taekwondo. So when I started doing wrestling, it was like a lot of tournaments, and like I loved martial arts, so I was like, this is kind of where it's at. And then MMA class is where it was like That's it.
Mm-hmm. So like, a question I have about like martial arts and stuff like. So for example, like this is a more personal question for myself. Like, cause I actually want to get into like probably within the next year, so I want to get into like learning more martial arts and stuff like that. But like the type of martial arts person I want to be like the type of person that's like I know multiple different martial arts. Like I want to be like just like overall like I want to be indestructible.
Just
right?
Batman. Let's go.
I literally want to be Batman. That's my goal. I want to get rich, jacked, and convert. I want to be Batman. That's kind of what it is. And so, if I want to be Batman, right? Like, which martial arts should I start with?
So here's the thing, like, why are guys so simple back? You know, I don't even care, bro. I want to be Batman too. So, but here's the thing, though. Like, at the end of the day, he's a superhero.
Yeah.
Batman knows probably every single martial arts out
Yeah.
and just mastered it. And I honestly feel like it's kind of impossible for you to do. Like, know every single martial
Not know
arts.
every single
and be
one, but like have a
master.
good, have a
Good foundation of
Yeah.
martial arts. So, I would say that's pretty much what MMA is.
Oh, it's a mix of.
It's mixed martial arts, right?
Mm.
And that is a mixture of martial arts. Just majority of martial arts in that category are wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. But there's fighters who, again, it's mixed martial arts. So there's fighters who are able to add that karate in there, add that taekwondo in there, right? Even though like taekwondo is strictly based off like kicks, and there's still other self-defense techniques. But in MMA, like you can having a fight with another MMA fighter, and then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do that tornado kick you're talking about, or like that doesn't work. I'm gonna take him down and submit him, put him in a really good choke or guillotine.
It's fair. It's kind of like using all the tools to like.
Yeah, it's just how you like kind of like apply to that and do that, right?
Okay.
So like pretty much like for your example, like honestly, it's just based on kind of like you, right? And like your instructors, the people you train with.
Okay.
I've been doing it for like quite some time, right? And I've probably faced all sorts of people, like big, small, like you named it. Like I've sparred with many different kind of people. I get my ass kicked. Sometimes I beat people's ass. So like any sort of martial arts that you get into, like it's all based off like you and how you take it in. Like when you first go in there, you're gonna probably get your ass kicked. But they won't like just throw you in there, you know what I'm saying? But like if you want to be serious and you want to like compete or get good, or even if you want to just get good, you know, like you said,
You have to compete.
you want to get jacked, rich,
Yeah.
and like you don't have to compete, but like you're gonna want to
Spar.
you know, spar.
Yeah,
Sparring is probably like one of the most important things I think
Mm-hmm.
about like learning martial arts. You can learn a technique, but you're not gonna be able to use it properly if you don't spar. If you have another person in front of you trying to kick shit out of you in a very kind, gentle way.
I don't know how is that kind and gentle.
You know, that's pretty much sparring is. You two are about to kick the shit out of each other, but you're not doing it in a way where you're actually trying to injure. You're still teaching each other. You're working on the technique. You're just.
Do you wear headgear when you do it, or just like?
No. So I don't wear headgear. There's competition where they require you to wear headgear, but when we spar, like I would say, I've been so used to just not sparring with headgear. It's like kind of weird for me to even wear headgear in competition. Even the fights that I've been in, like no, there's nothing.
Weird question. Have you ever been in like a situation where like you had to use like your martial arts as a defense, like randomly situation? Like,
oh, bro, like working in law enforcement.
Does it actually help in law enforcement?
Bro, oh my gosh, bro. Yeah, it does. It does. That's what I mean. Like some martial arts, like, you have to be realistic.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of realistic, have you looked into like what's that one, Krav Maga?
Krav Maga, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know that?
I don't know, but I've learned like I can't say I'm a master in it, but
Yeah.
like I've been with or trained with instructors who've taught me stuff. Who've definitely like shown me some Krav Maga techniques, or I've looked at myself and tried it on a lot of different kind of people. And I wouldn't say it's like not effective, but again, you have to be realistic, and that's why I think sparring is so effective, because like someone can teach you how to take a knife away, whatever you see those like videos of people like, and it's like, well, like, have you actually had a knife pulled on you? Do you know how it feels when someone is actually trying to actively stab you?
Yeah.
Because sometimes like you don't have someone that's like, oh, and you're like, oh, and you just like throw them down, and then you take the knife away. No, I mean, I think, okay, I'm gonna say this right now. If someone pulls a knife on you, just run. Just go. Like, no, I don't care how trained you are. If you have the opportunity to just take off, do it. Why are you trying to do that?
So you wouldn't suggest we doing a Krav Maga little?
No, absolutely not. No, like, I don't care how confident you are. If someone has a knife on you, man, like, or a gun or something like that, bruh. Like, okay, think about it this way.
Yeah.
Let's say me and you are this close, right?
Okay.
You have a gun and you start reaching and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My reaction, I think, is to probably get in close and like stop you from even having a chance to even grab that gun, right? Same with a knife. Like, if I run away right now and you're about to pull out a gun, you're gonna shoot me, dude.
Yeah.
Like, plain and simple. Like, you're gonna shoot me.
Yeah.
But if I know you're about to pull something, and I'm gonna stop you from doing that. But let's say like me and you are like right here right now, your gun's already pulled on me, right?
Yeah.
I'm still probably gonna try, and I think the best option is to fight.
Okay.
But like
before he pulls it.
Well, let's say like you're from far away.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna run and like, oh, I'm out, bro. I'm peacing out, right? Even if you had a knife on me right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'd probably like punch you and then run away. But I'm not about to.
Maybe because I see too many movies where the guy's like, and it's like,
It's moving unrealistic, bro.
Have you? And that's another thing too. The reason I want to be Batman, too, is because if you're able to like fight a bunch of people at the same time, do you think that's possible?
I do.
Do you like?
I do. I just don't think.
Could you do it?
Okay.
You're like, yo, you're unrealistic right now.
Okay, it depends, man. It really depends. That's the thing about martial arts. It really is dependable. Okay, so let's put it this way. There is like, let's say there's 3 guys.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm at work.
Okay.
I'm by myself, and let's say I don't have a vest. I don't have any tools. I just have my skill, and there's like 3 other guys.
Yeah.
None of them are trained, and they're my size.
Right.
Fucking fuck them up.
Actually?
I'm confident. None of them are trained, but that does not mean I won't get injured.
Right.
That does not mean I'm not gonna get punched in the face or kicked in the face or beat up.
Yeah.
I still finna.
Yeah.
I finna throw a scrap.
What about 5 guys?
See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And what if those 3 guys are just big dudes, bigger than I am, right?
Yeah.
No. Right? And then, there's times where you see smaller fighters beat bigger fighters and bigger fighters beat smaller fighters. Like, there's weight classes for a reason, right? A lot of people think like that's because bigger fighters, but no, it actually goes both ways. But 3 big guys who aren't trained versus like a smaller dude who is trained.
Oh, we got a subscriber. He's saying hi.
What's up?
What's up, bro? What's going on? Yeah, keep going.
But like that doesn't it would be difficult, right? That's like, again, it'd be hard to get out of a situation like that while fighting. I probably would just run.
Just run away.
Yeah. Right. So, what if it's like, again, like 3 guys my size, but they have weapons. So you really gotta look at the circumstances in which you're in, right? And shit, you can be Batman and fucking take him on, and you can
Just go in
win.
slow mo, like boom.
But like, you're probably still gonna get stabbed.
Yeah.
You're probably still gonna get punched in the face or, you know, thrown down. Like, you're not going in there unfazed. You're not. You could. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying, like, you're probably not gonna go to work the next day.
Yeah.
You're definitely gonna be in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if I'm not saying you can't beat them, right? But you finish.
You're gonna feel a little bit fucked up.
Yeah. You know.
Damn. Interesting. That's very interesting. Cause yeah, I always like in my head like thinking like, yo, if I learn martial arts, I'll be able to fight 10, 20 guys like in the movies, jumping off all the shit.
Man, there's people who can. There's no way in my mind that I do not think that GSP, okay, can't take on like 5 to like 7 guys. I know this guy can do it, bro. He's probably like George St. Pierre, UFC fighter.
Okay.
Right? So I know this guy can. He probably is like, nah, I'm not that serious because he's a young dude.
Yeah.
But I know, like someone like John Jones. You know John Jones.
No, I don't really watch the.
So like the John Jones, like it's probably like the best, my opinion, and I don't think it's opinion. He is. He's like 6'5", like heavyweight, light heavyweight champion in UFC. There's no way in my mind that guy cannot take 5 guys at the same time. He has all the tools he needs to be fucking Batman. He's insane, that dude. Demetrius Johnson, right? He's a smaller than me, but this guy is taking out dudes that are like 250 pounds bigger than him. I think he just literally on his Instagram page, he posted like him like fighting this huge jiu-jitsu guy and just with ease, man. He just destroyed him. I know that guy can take guys out, like, but again, does not mean they're going out unfazed, bro. They've been to get like, they're not going home the same. They're gonna be a bit messed up. They're gonna be hurt. So that's unless like, I mean, I can't say like if it was 1-on-1, like they could probably, there's a chance you could go home unfazed or not hurt, especially if you react or depending on the situation. But you have to think realistically here. You know? You'd be close to being like Batman.
Yeah, for
shit.
You can't be completely.
You can have that mindset, but like I have Batman. Call you up right now. Right? And I think that you should have that mindset if you are in a situation where you need to fight. Where you're cornered, you can't run away, then you should have that mindset where like, alright then,
here it is.
I gotta be Batman now. Sure, but
I'm thinking like, because like my goal kind of is to be like, I want to learn multiple different martial arts, but like I guess MMA would probably be the best bet. But do you think one should specialize in a few, like, because you said mixed martial arts is like a mixture of everything, right? So would you say it would be beneficial to like you have one specific one that you're like really good at, and then you kind of have a bunch of different styles that complement it? Like,
I think so.
Okay.
Like my opinion, like, and I think a lot of fighters, like majority of actually fighters, have one specific martial arts where they're like, this is my go-to. If I'm losing a fight, then this is what I need to do to help me get back in the game.
Everybody has their own kind. What's your personal style?
So, like for example, I'm very comfortable wrestling.
Okay.
I will take people down and just keep them there.
Okay.
Right, but I'm very comfortable also like boxing. Right, so I use a lot of my striking to set up my takedowns. Right, and that's just something that like this goes well with me. I do have game plans where I'm like, I'm not going to, just go in there and just take this guy down. Like, hopefully, like my next upcoming fight, right? There's all sorts of different things I plan on doing. Because it's been a while since I've been in the ring, but or the cage, but it's been you know, I learned a lot of new things, right? And to the point where I can just say, like, I'm comfortable in any situation that I get into. But if it's not going my way, then probably wrestling and all that stuff is probably the go-to, right?
So, cause you say you do like matches and stuff and like fights. So like, in preparation for like the fights, is it like, do you go through like a whole Rocky cutscene kind of thing? Like you're like mentally preparing, you gotta lock in. Like, what's the preparation before a fight? Like, like, are you like, what is the process? Are you like being like, shit, I'm gonna fuck this guy up? Waking up every morning, like you have this picture up on the wall, throwing like axes at it, or is it
That's
like,
crazy.
it's not that
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's people who actually do that, but the mindset I'd say is very part of it. Like,
You're up and thinking, like,
you
you watch
have
so
to
many
lock.
movies, bro.
You do have to lock in, bro. Yeah, you do have to lock in. And sometimes, like, there's different. It's circumstantial. If you have to cut weight, right, and I'm fighting like 3 months from now, I'd probably start, cutting weight from now, right? I'll probably start like eating more healthy, getting back, like locking in, like eating healthy, working out more, being more consistent at the gym, which you should already be, but you should be like making that schedule for yourself. This is now priority. And a lot of the times, like, there's this thing where a fighter, well, I go through, I don't know about other people, but I've noticed other people go through it too. But when fighters have a fight coming up, they have like a mindset. And then everything starts to kind of like fall into place. So when you spar with them, they're fucking you're sparring.
Like your actual opponent, you spar beforehand.
Like, no, but like when you're training, when you're sparring, like, in like my head, it's like I'm not fucking playing around like now. Like when I'm sparring with you, like I'm not trying to hurt you, but I probably am going to. There's a potential more chance I'm gonna probably hurt this person.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to get my head in the game here, right? And that's the kind of risk that you have when you kind of fight with someone or spar or train with someone who is like preparing for a fight, right? And it's not, I don't think it's intentional, it's just they're locked in. They're not playing any games, it's not a joke, right? Like, for example, there's a thing called like a Shark Tank, where you have the fighter who is preparing for a fight, and let's say it's a 5 minute, 5 rounds, and there's a new fresh person coming in every minute or every like 3 minutes, right? And he stays in the whole time. He's not taking a break, right? So he's facing a different person to help prepare for his fight in sparring. And it's very, very like, it can be very tiring, but it's also very like motivating, especially like when you know that you're still in the game, you're not falling, like you're not out of breath. Like, well, you're gonna be out of breath, but like you're not tired, you're not fatigued, you're not throwing up afterwards. So it can also be very like fulfilling, and like I think that is a very good way to help prepare, because you're also preparing your brain, your mental state, and your body at the same time, and it's helping you kind of realize like when you need to pick up the pace and when not to, or when to calm down, or when to start controlling your breathing. So it's like you're consistently fighting a new person every time, right? So yeah, like when it comes to mindset, then you definitely have to take it seriously. It's like, again, a movie is not really like they go hard, but honestly though, like, for example, I really like the movie's Creed, because I do think it's kind of like shows how a fighter has to also consider his life too.
Yeah.
Like outside of training in a ring, it's more realistic. Like for example, Adonis has a kid, he has a wife, he has people he needs to support, and That's kind of like how fighters are. Like sometimes, like you have a sport that you love and you want to take it seriously, but starting out as a fighter, like you don't get paid a lot of money starting
It's
out.
purely like
Right.
passion.
You have to take this seriously. You have to go to training, but you still have to consider the fact that you gotta go to work. You gotta put money away. You have to make preparations. You have to like make a schedule for yourself, and that shit gets tiring, man. So you have to have that mindset of like kind of both, like realistic mindset. Like you can't just throw away your life, throw away your job, and
We go fighting full time.
a lot of guys who do that, man, are already have had to do that already.
What do you mean by that?
Like had to like a lot of guys who can like focus strictly on like the fight and like preparing for it and train every single day and that's all they do. They already had to go through that phase where like, well, shit, I have to work, I have to put money on the table, put food on the table.
Oh, like they've already reached a certain level in life to where they can do
where
that.
they can just do that, like some UFC fighters and stuff like that. Like they've already gotten to the point where they're like, nah, you know, I'm stable in my MMA career where I can just train and train and train, fight and train, and I have enough money to do that. Right? But when you're starting out, like you can't just quit your job, you can't just do something like that, right? You have to balance the two. And what I do honestly is like I treat everything like it's like I'm preparing for a fight. Then I have a fight coming up. Like if I'm not training in the gym and I'm at work, then I am training my mind.
Yeah. Constantly kind of training.
Yeah.
That's what I like about, that's also why I want to kind of get into it, is because like, I feel like that mindset of like, I feel like every man low-key should like learn some kind of like martial art. Like, you ever heard the saying like, it's better to be a warrior, no, better to be a gardener and damn it, I always messed this up. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war kind of thing. I feel like that's like really true, like, you know what I mean? Just to know you're capable of like fighting, you know what I mean?
100%.
You know?
Like, even though you have to be realistic, like I would probably put my money down on someone who's has some sort of training to defend me than someone who doesn't. Right? Honestly, I don't understand people who say that martial arts are ineffective. Right? It's really just situational on what like situation that like you are in. That being said, though, like I'd rather put my money on someone who has any sort of training than someone who doesn't. Like I'm sorry, that's just how I'm gonna, take it. Martial arts is also more like they help more with just like technique. They help you with their confidence. They help you with discipline. If you meet anyone that says like, oh, like, martial arts, all they like to do is fight, and they think, no, like, a lot of guys who are like actually fighters, you can't tell they're fighters when you see them on the street or just
they're like stoic.
They're like, bro, you don't know. You will not know. They can look like a nerd, dude.
Yeah.
And you not know that this guy can straight drop you right now. I see it happen all the time. Like people be looking at these big bodybuilders and jack guys, and like one time I seen like my instructor or this person that used to hold pads for me, and I saw him at Best Buy one time, and I was like, damn man, like this guy looks like a nerd, bro. He's like glasses, shorts, flip flops and stuff. And he's like, yo, Isiah, how's it going? And I'm like, bro, this guy's straight whoop everyone's ass in this store, bro. I'm like, this guy does not look like a fighter at all. Like, but it's not until like you see, like you really have to examine people, right? Like people will probably put money down on that bodybuilder or some guy that looks jacked or guy that looks intimidating, but that doesn't mean nothing sometimes. right? Like, I think I saw like this meme too, and it was like Justin Gaethje, another UFC fighter, just like he had glasses and he was just wearing like this nerd shirt. The meme was just like, yeah, this guy finna whoop your ass, so he doesn't look like it. So, and that's the kind of thing I like about martial arts. Like, it gives you confidence, and you're just being yourself. You're not a person who's going to, who looks like, or presents themselves like, oh, just as badass. And you have that discipline, self-control, and that's kind of what I'm also practicing too. Is that being humble and stuff, and obviously people know that I'm an MMA fighter, and I think, but I honestly want people to kind of just know that just by looking at my Instagram or just like social media. I don't want to be that guy that says, I am MMA.
Yeah, mix of the personality. I'm MMA, And you grab right now.
I'm MMA. It's like, but if someone says, hey, who are you? Like, what do you do? And I'm like, yeah, I'm an MMA fighter. I like to train and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just like, what I do. It's what I love to do. But it's not like, like you said, like, open a door.
As the show, like, like an MMA, like if you open the door, like, I can kill you right now.
Yeah, shut up, bro. Chill.
They're like,
bro.
oh, like you'll be doing it,
bro.
Random. They'll be like, I could have killed you right now, right? If you would have moved your arm this way, I would have just.
Don't move your arm that way. Bro. You can get arm bar. Bro, chill out, bro. Stop. But it's it's what I like. It's what I like about it. It's more than just like, just like who you are. It definitely it teaches you a lot. It teaches you to humble yourself, and you have that confidence to just be who you are. And it's good to know that you also can defend yourself.
Right.
Too, right.
Translation is to let you fuck anyone up.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? I was gonna ask like as a fighter and stuff, before you get into that ring and all that stuff, like, do you find like being stoic like helps? Like, for example, like, I don't know, you might think this guy watches way too many movies, but like I see like in like certain movies, like for example, I was watching Cobra Kai, right? And and the Kreese was saying to Robbie, he's like, yo, your dad was like the greatest fighter I ever seen, like, but the reason why he lost is because like he was what do you call it? He let his emotions get the best of him, and he was like, all over the place. He was angry, he was out of control, and then he was saying like, you can't be like too emotional in the fight. I don't know if that translates to real life, like. Is there like a little truth to that?
I think that's not even just that. I think that's just real life, just my opinion. That's in every situation.
Okay.
Right? Emotions can change some stuff for you. For example, when you're fighting and like if you're like you're not gonna go into a fight like unless like your girl really pissed you off right before the fight. But you gotta cut that out, man. Get it out of there.
Be able to tune it out.
You do have to control your emotions. I'm a firm believer of that when you come into a fight, for sure. That doesn't mean you can't lock in, but like you for sure aren't able to lock in if you're thinking about something else, right? When I go and train, everything that's happened outside of like training is not there. I get into an argument with my girl before training. As soon as I open that door and I'm in like where I train, it's gone. I'm not bringing that in there. If I'm going to bring that in there, then I'm piecing out. I'm not going to bring that there. And that's the same thing I do for work, dude. Like, if I'm in a bad mood, I'm not going to go to work, especially in the field that I train in, just to piss everyone off, bring a bad vibe. I'm not going to do my job properly, and people are not going to want to be around me. It's the same thing in any situation. I can't go into the ring and fight some guy that's ready to beat my ass, and I'm here thinking about shit like my girl pissed me off, or flipping like, oh, I just had a bad day. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. No, no. When you're fighting, dude, like your mind has to be in the game, dude, or you won't apply properly. That's definitely a thing. Like you will not be able to put in like, and you find a lot of fighters say that they'll say my mind wasn't in there. I wasn't all there. The third fight where I lost, I had all the tools I needed to beat that guy. But I lost, I think, because one, I was so nervous. And it's okay to be nervous, but when you're so nervous that you freeze, like, there's many opportunities. The more I rewatched that, I'm like, damn, I could have taken that guy down, and we're like, we could have fought a bit more. But I knew I could beat that guy, but I lost literally because I just generally think my mind wasn't all there. It was a tough time in my life, and I went in there not thinking about the tools that I had. I just kept thinking about like, oh man, I'm fucking tired, man. I just want to get this done and over with. I just want to, it's like I can't apply properly that way. So definitely, that is a thing, and I think that's not just in martial arts. That's just like in anyday life, right? Like I said, I actually will not go into work. That's one thing where I'm like, fuck it. If my mindset's not all there, I'm not saying like shit doesn't happen and like, and there's gonna be times I'm like have to be like, screw it, I have to go to work. But when I'm going with that mindset in a bad mood, like I'm not gonna, and I can't wipe that out of my brain, I'm not going, no. It's not fair for people, it's not fair for me, it's gonna make stuff worse, it's gonna be negative, people sense people's energy.
Yeah, and they can sense when you're not all the way there.
Yeah, you think that someone that you're fighting is not gonna sense that?
Yeah, and they might even take advantage of
Take
that.
advantage? Well, shit, I would.
Yeah.
I know this guy is all mad, bro, and you're just like, I'm gonna take out all my anger. I'm like, alright, then, make a mistake, bro. Make a mistake. Things like chess, you have to think. You have to react, you have to think, and when your emotions aren't all there, you can't do that. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah, that's why I fuck with the mindset of just like being a fighter. You're just like, it's just because it's a mental thing too. It's not just about like releasing your energy, your anger and whatever, and going crazy. It's about like control and like the stoicism of it, and like being calculated and controlled.
And like that's the thing, like your fight or flight response sometimes throws that out of the boat too, like all that technique, and that's why I like the mindset of a fighter, because what martial arts really does, the mindset for my thing is it takes that flight or fight response and it makes you think in a way, like it turns it on, like it turns a switch on, like I have these tools that I can use to defend myself in this situation. And what that does is this, it teaches you this, is this a situation where I'm going to have to fuck this guy up or take it out?
Yeah.
Right? It teaches you that defense. It's not just a defense of the body, it's a defense of the mind too. Right?
No, that's facts. That's facts. I want to switch gears a little bit here too. Let's jump into like, I kind of want to jump into the Black History stuff, because I know you're into like Black History and whatnot.
Yeah.
And like, it was something I recently started getting into like in like 2020, because I found out about like, I didn't realize until 2020 that the richest man to ever live was black.
Yeah.
Like that's
Mansa
Musa. I didn't realize that until like my friend told me, like, there's no way. Like I thought it was like Jeff Bezos or something, right? And then I Googled it and I was like, whoa, like yeah, like no one. It's crazy that no one.
Actually, a character in my book, I based him off of that.
That's sick. Though. It's crazy because like no one ever teaches you that kind of stuff, Yeah. That's why I always try to do a Black History Month podcast every year, trying to like learn something new about Black history.
You want to know what's also really cool?
Mm.
The first cowboy in Alberta was black.
Seriously?
Yeah. I was telling someone this. What's his name?
What was even before you go into the details? What even is like? All I know about a cowboy is that they wear like a cowboy hat and shit. Like, are they like?
Honestly,
gangster?
like, no, I don't know how a gangster I'd say. It's just like cowboys now, but I generally just think someone who, herds cattle, who make money off of that, rides horses. Yeah. I
Okay.
can't really say like I not really know much about that. My wife has been kind of raised in that atmosphere, but like
I always thought cowboys is gonna sound hilarious. You're gonna be like, yo, this guy watches too many movies, but I just thought cowboys chase after trains and stuff. Like, hey, stop the train.
I mean, I don't know how it was back in the day, but like I think just a cowboy is just someone who likes the like herd cattle, rides horses. I don't really think it's like a job or anything.
Like a Lone Ranger type of deal.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of like that's just like, for example, like it's just like a lifestyle.
But you were gonna say like the first cowboy.
Yeah, but I think that generally was like a job for him or something. I don't remember. I think his name was like John something.
Okay.
But yeah, he generally was black, bro. I didn't believe it when I heard it either. I was just like, nah, that's crazy.
It's crazy because like what I notice whenever they teach Black History Month in schools, it's always like some like slave type of like stuff. We won't learn about like the actual like black like excellence. We'll just learn about you're just like I didn't know there was life before slavery. I always just thought
that's crazy. I didn't know that. What the heck you think you think we just born and then they were just like you're slaves. You right now.
Yeah.
This little one right here is a slave.
Yeah. Literally, because I mean, when you're growing up, like that's literally all I know. Because I remember teachers would say stuff like, like if we were back in this time, this person wouldn't be in our class right now. They would be out in you know what I mean? I remember my teacher, Louise. She probably shouldn't have said it like that now.
That's
She also played a little like she played tracks that this is the song that they listened to on the plantations, and she made us listen to it and like reflect on it and write it. Now when I think about this, I'm like, that's a little interesting. But
yeah, they do teach that in school a lot. That's kind of like what I liked about being homeschooled.
Oh, you're homeschooled.
Like I was homeschooled from the grade 5 to I want to say the 7th grade, and that like my parents were able to, especially my mom, were able to like teach me that, give me the opportunity to know, even though I knew. And I don't think it's wrong for you to know that like black people were enslaved.
Yeah, no. I don't think it's wrong at all. My issue with it is that
It's the only thing that's really shown, and it's completely like degrading sometimes.
Yeah.
Like in high school too, like I would sit in the classroom and they'd be like, "We're gonna talk about slavery."
Yeah.
and you get all the people looking at you like, they're like, "Man,
No,
what are you looking at, dude?"
Yeah. Everyone's looking back.
It's
This
just
is side
like,
eye.
just like,
Yeah, literally.
it's like, bro.
Especially if you go to predominantly white like school, whatever. And it's just
Yeah.
Like,
You have to look in your history, bro.
yeah.
Like for example, like my family, especially like from like my dad's side and my mom's side, my mom's side are like Jamaican, and when I look into that history, like I found out that we come from like the Maroons, and they were like
Cameroon?
Sorry?
Cameroon or?
No, just like Jamaican Maroons. Like,
Oh, yeah.
And they were slaves, but they had escaped, and they went and they pretty much formed country of Jamaica. Like for example, Nanny was one of the main leaders of the Maroons, and like it's quite cool. Like the whole history of it. Like there's that stuff they don't really teach you in school.
It's weird. I don't know. Part of me thinks like I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it almost seems like strategic in a way. Like
It
I don't
definitely.
know.
Well, like, here's the thing. Like, even though you say it's like a conspiracy theorist thing,
Yeah.
and even if that wasn't their intention, this is why I keep trying to teach or tell people.
Yeah.
It looks bad,
Yeah.
right? So even if that's not your intention, then maybe you should change that, right? We hear all sorts of different kind of cultures. We learn about Aztecs,
Yeah.
Renaissance, medieval times. Why is it so hard for people to teach people about ancient, Black history? It's very common, right? It's not like hard to do.
It's not hard at all.
There is like people are like, there's no recording. There's a lot of recorded history about Black history, right? And like who we were before, right? So I don't know why. That's something I find very kind of annoying.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I think a lot of that too, when you don't do that, then we start to kind of pick on each other. Like a lot of Black folks. Like, there's some things that I do that they're like, that's white. And it's like, we've been doing this kind of thing way longer before. Like, for example, I like to camp a lot. I like to go on hikes. And you get
our ancestors were hiking for sure.
That's what, like,
that was their life.
Dumb. There's people still doing that in like Africa. They hike days.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you can't. That's white, bro. And it's like, shut up. The fact that you just said that showed me how lost you are. Bro.
Yeah.
Right? That's crazy that you actually believe that. Right? Those ideas that you see like other white folks do that, they've taken those ideas, they've seen us do things like that. That's something that we did. Actually, it happened not that long ago. Last set, like we were talking about hiking, and some fucking guy that we work with was like, "That's white." I'm like, I was so close to just being like, "Bro, shut up!" Like, stop. Like, but I didn't want to get into it there. You're in the workplace. I'm not talking about that stuff. But yeah, like there's it, and that's what I mean by like we kind of like us as Black folks when we don't know our history, and we start to pick on each other. Like when you see someone that's different from you, then we're like, that guy ain't Black.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I think that's another issue with the Black community is like, Black is like not even. For example, like you ever seen Fresh Prince?
Yeah.
Remember that episode where Carlton like he gets kicked out of the fraternity because I guess he just doesn't fit the definition of like Black because he's not ghetto and doesn't talk in like a sup cuz, you act like like a sup cuz, like act like a buffoon kind of thing. Like I feel like Black, especially in the United States, I feel like they created an identity where it's like Black people, we're supposed to act in like a ghetto way.
Well, they created their own culture, which I don't think is a bad thing. A lot of their culture has been taken away from them, or they don't know about their culture, so they create their own. Yeah, which is fine.
I guess.
What I think is bad is when you pick on someone else or pick on your own people and think they don't belong with you because you don't act a certain way, yeah. Right?
When they say you're acting white because you talk properly or whatever, your grammar or whatever.
And that's something I actually struggled with as a kid. I had somebody I grew up with. We actually aren't friends anymore. But like growing up with him, like he would always be like, why are you dressed that way? Like why don't you put your pants down low, wear some like more baggy? Why do you talk this way? Why do you listen? And there's a reason why we're not friends no more. But like that's something that I was like, well, because like I just not into that. Right?
Yeah.
But I love my history. I know so much about it. You know, I've been around many Black people. I hang out with Black people all the time. I love it. I love the culture. Yeah. And especially like my own culture too. I love African culture. So when I was like a kid, I didn't understand when people like other black people would be like, "You're white," and it's like, what? What does that even mean?
Mm-hmm. What does
What
that
do you
even
mean by that?
It happened to me too. Like I remember I got called whitewash because I don't know. I can't remember. I said something. I said a proper word. It was funny. The same guy that called me whitewash. I see him 5 years later. This guy's wearing cowboy boots, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's kind of
Oh,
weird.
yeah, there's someone I like too, and still a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I have a truck, right?
yeah,
And I have a truck because, I love to be outdoors. I like to camp, I like to hike, and he was like, "Why would you get a truck? That's like so white." And it's like, we live in Alberta, dude. Like, what are you talking about?
yeah, yeah.
Why would I have it makes no sense for me to have a sedan at all. And just decline that. It makes no sense for me to have a sedan right now.
Yeah.
Like, especially with me and my wife, she has a sedan.
Yeah.
And we're camping, hiking. We have like 3 dogs.
Yeah.
Well, not 3 dogs, like 2 dogs. And we like to take them out with us. Why would I have 2 sedans? It makes no sense.
Makes no sense, yeah.
Right? I should probably get a truck.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes, especially now, we can afford it. Has nothing to do with the fact that I'm trying to be like, yeah, yes sir.
Yeah.
I'm an Albertan. No, it's because it makes sense for me to have a truck.
Yeah.
Right?
It gets a weird culture of like, we pick on each other and we created a new culture. But I feel like, that's all cool and all, but I feel like we also gotta like you said, like do the research, figure out where we actually come from. Because
extremely important that we know where we come
from. We talked about like earlier before off camera, like about like Superman and shit. I feel like black people are like Kryptonians, but we're this, brought to like Earth and we don't know where we're actually from. Like I feel like it's like if Clark Kent never realized he was from Krypton, like that's kind of like black people not knowing their history. It's the same.
Exactly, and I think when you know your history, you know who you are, you will come off with a different approach on how you present yourself, and that's why, like my mom, for example, really, really like drilled into us like what is like our history and who we are, to the point where like I just did a lot more history on like myself and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important, right? We've done a lot for this. Like, believe it or not, black folks have done a lot of things and done a lot. There's a lot of things in this world I'd say that we have that we wouldn't have right now if it wasn't for like this person or this other black person, right?
Especially like in like the Moors in Italy and stuff, like their culture, like there's so many things. There's so much things that I don't even know. I'm still trying to research.
Same. There's a lot of things, right? For example, that cowboy thing. People would not believe that, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't believe that. But like when I searched it up and I like looked at this dude and I was like, that guy's black. That guy's darker than me. I was like, this guy is black. But people like were just like, no, that's not true. That is not true. They're where do you find out? Google, and I'm like, well, it's there for a reason, bro.
Yeah.
Like, look at the history. That's a black dude, man. Why is it so hard for people to? I never understand why is that a problem? Like, why is it so hard for people to like believe?
I think it's because of what they taught us in school. Like they conditioned us to think that we were nothing more than just like. That's basically what I feel like we were taught. Like I kid you not, until 2020, I swear I thought we weren't like legalized back then. I know that sounds crazy, but like imagine you go through all of elementary school, all of junior high, and I've never heard any like black excellence story. It was always a slave story, always Martin Luther, Malcolm X, like that's all I knew, right? Until 2020 lockdown, I actually had time away from the world, and then I heard the Mansa Musa. I was like, let me Google this. What? There's no. And I went down a rabbit hole, and it was
There's all sorts of people like Shaka Zulu, man's a beast.
Who's that one?
So he pretty much conquered South Africa.
Oh wow.
Yeah, look him up, man. Like these are guys that we should all know about too.
Mm.
This guy was pretty much almost conquered I like to think of him as like the Alexander
Oh, okay, of Africa.
of Africa, like ancient history, and there's probably a way more that have been like that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a history, dude, and it's there. There's things that you can learn about there. A lot of people are like, well, it was taken away from us, our history. There's nothing recorded. It's recorded. It's all there.
Mm-hmm.
They just didn't want us to know it was there.
Yeah.
Right? And there's no way in doubt that they didn't want us to know that. I'm not saying that now, maybe that's my conspiracy, but back then for sure they didn't want us to know.
Oh yeah, back then they didn't know us. No. Facts.
And that also can stem on why we are still taught kind of like that in the world. Like they just probably don't know themselves too. That we probably should change this curriculum.
Yeah.
Teach people different things.
Yeah, because I feel like the whole, because from my personal experience, like learning about like slavery and all this stuff, and only learning that, it actually kind of creates this like mindset where you don't really feel like you feel like you can't really accomplish much because you feel like you start to think white people are like superior than you, because like once you see like the history and be like, oh, it wasn't that long ago, like you were just a slave, da 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 da. And they put these kind of messaging, especially like a lot of the older heads will like say things like, oh, because you're black, you have less of an opportunity, that's why you have to try harder and stuff, and like they kind of push that. And yeah, you might have like a disadvantage because like racism, and you might, you know what I mean? I just feel like when they focus too much on like systemic racism and too much on like the limit, if they keep fighting for the limitations for the black community, and I think pushing that to the younger generations is not really good because it kind of affects the self-confidence. At least in my experience, I feel like it definitely.
Yeah. Like me personally, I think that definitely what you're taught can be. I'm not really, again, big on like victimization.
Yeah.
But these are things that we struggle with.
Yeah.
Right? And when that you have that narrative in, that gets pushed on you, it's kind of hard not to victimize yourself.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, well, this is a problem, like, and is it because of this? Like, you're going to think that's the problem. Right? Even if it's not, but like, because it's happened for a long period of time, it's hard not to victimize yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's like one of the issues with like the black community and stuff, like just like the whole like victimization. Like I noticed it a lot. Like actually when I did a podcast, right? I did a podcast last February, Black History Month. And like it was actually crazy. I actually got I got like those people who were like supporting, but I actually got a lot of hate too from it, from like just people in the comments were like, it was like, I'm trying to lift you guys. I'm trying to say like, yo, we weren't always like this. Like I'm trying to say like, you can be anything you want. It doesn't matter about the color of your skin. These guys are like, F you. You're delusional. You don't understand the black struggle. This is probably coming from someone who lives in this part of the world.
Shut up.
that literally, that was me. I was like, yo. Like these, I'm trying to lift you guys up, and they're saying, fuck you, man. Like, why are you trying to make me feel like, the whole experience, it boggled my mind. I'm like, I'm trying to uplift people, and I'm getting hate for it. Like, it's crazy.
I think there's a way for sure, like, you can approach it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, man. Like, if you are, let's say you are born in a very shitty part of the world that's been affected by police brutality, or like it has a history of like, hey, this is where you were supposed to be and you can't grow. That's there, bro. Like the mindset is like you are a victim in that sense, right? That does not mean though you can't get out of that. And I think in order for you to get out of that place, like you can't wait for someone to rescue you. you can't wait for the white folks to say, hey, there's no racism, we're gonna give everything back to you. It's never gonna fucking happen, dude. You have to get out of that place yourself. And even if they were going to do that, you have to take the opportunity to take that. Right? For example, the movie's Boys in the Hood. Have you seen that movie?
Seen Straight Outta Compton, but not Boys in the Hood. No, I gotta watch
Right.
that.
Well, look at like the movie Boys in the Hood. You got Ricky, who ended up dying. He got shot, and then but he was getting himself out of there. He was going to college. He knew history. He was like, no, I don't want to stay in this place. And that was like, that neighborhood it's a tough neighborhood, and we know the history of how, like the government would, keep black people in a certain place and put in drugs, put in alcohol.
Yeah.
Almost kind of like the reserves in Canada.
Yeah.
Right? So, but he was getting his way out of that. And in the end, though, it wasn't like the white man who shot him. It was our own. Right? You see what I'm saying?
Crab in the barrel kind of.
Right? And that's kind of where I think we're stuck, where we say, hey, the white man did this to us and the white man did that. But at the end of the day, we also have to take initiatives ourselves. And I think that's probably the best way for us to get out of a certain situation is to kind of build each other up, right? And create something for ourselves instead of waiting to be rescued. And that's why I don't think that whole victimization thing is not going to work. And yes, we have to also be given the opportunity to do that. And there is privilege and stuff, but we also have to take initiatives and fix ourselves, learn our history, travel, get educated, teach each other, build each other, not be like, you're white.
Yeah.
Or like, you don't do this thing, then you are not one of us if you don't think this way. It's like, it's so bad, dude.
Yeah.
It's ignorance. It's no different than the people who put us there.
Yeah.
So like,
it's like we're like fighting against her. It's like, it's weird. I hate to say it, the whole black community sometimes I'm like, it's like that meme where it's like, black people, you ever seen that meme?
It's like that meme where it's just like black people. Like I've seen it where it's just like folks, like black folks.
No, it was like where it's like, I'll have to send you a video where it's like, it's hard to explain. I'll have to send you, I'll show you a video after the podcast. But it's one of those things where it's like, the black community, we just bring each other down sometimes. And it's just like, it's just we don't know our history, and then we do things like victimize ourselves. And that kind of brings me to the next topic I wanted to touch on when it comes to like, because you're actually someone who's actually making a difference by like, getting into law enforcement and stuff. Because I feel like the way I see it is like, we can complain and talk about like police brutality and stuff like that, and talk about what's going on and why there's not enough representation and all this stuff, or we can get involved and start making an actual difference. Like for example, there's like maybe a young black kid on the street and he sees you in the uniform, you know what I mean? He's gonna think, okay, maybe it's possible for me too. You know what I mean? Like it's the start of like actually making a change and changing the image, right? Instead of saying like, ACAB, screw all cops, all this other stuff, you know what I mean? Like that's why I actually respect what you're doing, honestly. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's really important.
Yeah, like again, man, like I'm not gonna say that police brutality isn't a thing. It's definitely a thing, and there's definitely racism in any sort of field, right? Not even just policing, and it could be racism in any sort of career. When it comes to that, though, working in that field, and honestly, I would say I started experiencing the most racism when I started working in law enforcement.
Really?
Yeah, and that's like I'm a black dude wearing the uniform, man. Right. So I do experience times where I get, other people who I deal with. The first thing they're gonna call me is the N-word.
Oh wow.
right? That's normal to me.
Oh, that's normal to me.
That's like the first thing they go to. It's like, you're gonna arrest me? You're an N-word, and it's like, wow, good job, bro. Okay, one though that stood out to me though was third worlder. I've never heard that in my life. One guy called me a straight third worlder, bro. I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa, bro. It was like holding this guy down, and like even the other like white officers were like, whoa.
That's like.
I was like, what? Where do you come from? Where did you? That's crazy. That's creative. That's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah,
bro.
but that's kind of what I expected, though, right? And I kind of see both worlds. I get, other people are like, "Oh man, you're a traitor. You should not be in that uniform." And then I get people who I deal with where they're like, you know what? I don't have to listen to this black man. You should not have this power. You're an N-word.
Wow.
Yeah, I can see both ways. And I'm not gonna lie. There's been times where I'm like, am I just here for the diversity? Am I just the diverse hire?
Right.
Which I think is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think people should be selected for their skill set.
Right.
I'm not saying though that we should have diversity in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also very important. But if you're gonna do that, make sure they have the skill set to work in that field, right? Mm-hmm. This is how I see it, right? If you are going to hire someone, right? Or for example, are you gonna have a Chihuahua work as a police dog?
No.
Right? Or are you gonna have like a border collie do that? No. You're gonna have a German Shepherd. Are you gonna have a Rottweiler as a police dog? No. Are you gonna have a wolf? No. The reason why they choose a German Shepherd is because one, they're people, they're smart, they love to please people, and when some stuff happens, bro, they're ready to throw down.
Right.
You're not gonna have a wolf as a police dog because they're too wild and would probably hurt someone. Mm-hmm. They don't want to please it, they're wild. You're not gonna have a Chihuahua because they don't have that there.
Yeah.
So there's job requirements and qualifications for a reason. And I think that it should not be based off just skin color. What you can do is you can open the door and give people the opportunity to do that. No. Those who do have those qualifications, who happen to maybe be black,
okay, yeah,
they should be able to have the opportunity to, get into the field they want to be. But you should hire that person just off of that.
Yeah. No.
Right?
No, I definitely agree with that, with the whole diverse hire, and the whole thing about they shouldn't be diverse hiring. And I feel like, even Martin Luther said it himself. His dream was that people would get jobs based on merit, nothing to do with the color of their skin, right? And I feel like, and going back to what you said about people saying you're a traitor, all this other stuff. I feel like, if we want to see change for the black community, we gotta start making something of ourselves. We gotta start stepping up and be like, you know what, I'm gonna apply and be a police officer. Maybe it doesn't even have to be a police officer. Just somewhere where you see there is an issue or something. Just putting yourself, because they always talk about systemic racism, this, that, but I feel like the answer is just to join the system and make the move your way up to a point where you have enough power to make the decision to make the change.
I think there definitely is.
It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy, but
yeah,
we have to try.
Yeah, and here's the thing about systemic racism. Even if we were to do that, the problem is that are we given the opportunity to, or are we just gonna keep us in a certain place? And that's kind of what I mean by I've seen racism both ways. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say specifically in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. But there's been opportunities where I see an individual who has the same requirements as me, who's been there as long as me, and this person gets training more than, or gets the opportunity, for example, to be management or something. When I've expressed interest or even just want training in it, right? So how are we supposed to make a difference if we're not given an opportunity to make the difference? And that's where I think there is a lot of struggle with. And I don't think that's on purpose. Sometimes I think that's just how the system has just been running. Like, sometimes I think that's just in the people's mindset. It doesn't mean they're a racist individual. It's just like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like,
that's a bias, because like they look the same.
Not even just a bias, it's just like, even though they're not intentionally being like racist or anything, it's just like, that's almost embedded in them just to do that, you know? Like, this is how I kind of see it.
Right.
When you have two racers, one's black, one's white, you know nothing about them. Who you gonna be rooting for, bro? Come on. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? One's black and one's white. But you never know, like, but if you actually know, like, this person, maybe, right, or you've been following that, like, that white dude, maybe you'll be, no, I want this dude to win.
Yeah.
Because this guy actually supports, like, my country, or it's been, like, he's someone I've been following forever, right? And that's kind of how I think it is when it comes to systematic racism. They don't really know it's there.
Yeah.
It's just a natural occurrence. Like, they're gonna do what they are naturally used to,
Right.
because they're afraid of change.
Yeah.
They are not used to having black men telling them what
What to do.
It's gonna make them uncomfortable. So they're gonna not give. It's almost like they're naturally not giving them the opportunity because that's what they're used to. So if I'm training for example, same training as someone else, this person is just like, you know what? There's a management opening. Instead of giving them both the opportunity to just apply an interview, they're giving it to selective people, and all those people happen to be a bunch of white men or white women. I don't know if it can be intentional. I'm not saying, because there's always been, but sometimes, like, I think it's just a natural occurrence to say, hey, I'm just gonna give it to these guys. I know they'll be interested in it, so here you go. Instead of being like, hey, who has all been interested in this game? If you want this opportunity, then you need to do this.
Yeah.
See what I'm kind of trying to get at?
Yeah. I definitely see your point. Yeah. Like, definitely, I guess, yeah, there could be some kind of like issues when it comes to, like, you know, the system and like how they select people and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like it is gonna be probably tough in certain institutions and stuff, but I feel like we shouldn't like allow that to like deter us, because I feel like there's some people in the black community who just be like, why am I even gonna try?
100%.
You know what I mean?
No, if you feel like something's like, and this is something I've learned now, like, if you see that, we have to call it out, dude.
Yeah.
We have to take our boss or management or someone and be like, no, like, what the fuck? Like, this is not cool, and if this is not your intention, it looks bad. This is not what it should look like. And opportunities should be given to anybody. As long as they have requirements, dude, then it should be. And you'll get some people who will be like, well, you know what, I feel like, well, your qualifications isn't suited for it. And you gotta fight, bro. You gotta fight for it, because sometimes they'll just say shit. And it doesn't even have to, and it won't even make sense. And I've dealt with that. I'm not gonna say I dealt with it in law enforcement, but I've dealt with it while, like, in an important role. Right? So, there's definitely privilege, I'd say, for sure. But when you make yourself a victim, and this is where mindset comes in, you get stuck in a place of victimization.
Yeah.
And then you get angry, and then if someone hasn't experienced the same thing as you, or someone's just like, hey, let's get out of this place, their natural instinct is gonna be like point fingers and say, you don't know shit, you don't know what I went through, or what everyone else who here agrees with me. You are part of the problem when it's not. And I think that's kind of pretty much what happened with you. You were saying, hey, let's get out of this. Let's get out of this area. Let's get out of this place.
Yeah.
Let's fight for.
You know what's interesting? It's kind of like, I kind of saw myself, it goes back to the beginning. You're going to be like, it goes back to the beginning. I kind of saw myself as Batman. You're going to be like, why is everyone trying to be Batman? But like, you ever
Yo, bro, because Batman's crazy. I love that guy, bro.
We've seen the third Batman movie with Christian Bale, Dark Knight Rises, the third one. I remember the scene where he climbs up the wall, and then he jumps, he makes the climb, he makes the jump, and then he leaves the rope for them to climb out. That's how I kind of saw myself when I did that video for like the Black community.
Yeah, well, that's such a great scene. And it's actually a good way to see it. It's called The Dark Knight Rises.
Rises,
right?
yeah.
So, like, I think that's a good way to see, like, look at everyone in there.
Yeah.
And so many people gave up on making the climb.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, because it's set up for us not to make the climb.
Yeah.
And Bruce Wayne was like, nah, bro. I'm making this climb. People have done it. Right? I just need to train my body, recover, and get to where I need to be so I can save the city. And that's actually a great great analogy. It's a movie, but there's a meaning to it.
Yeah.
And because like everyone there was like, no, I'm a victim. I'm stuck here. I'm gonna die here. I'm not even gonna try and make that climb because it's set up for me not to make the climb. Bruce Wayne made the climb, dude.
Yeah.
He did it. Got his back fixed. He injured himself. He fell.
Yeah.
He fell a few times, but he kept doing it. And then there you go.
Yeah.
Batman. Yeah, it's a movie, but it's shit like that happens all the time.
True. And I feel like what I liked about, especially, was when he laid the rope down for the rest of them. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you grind, you level up to that point where you become an example. But it's not just about being examples. Also, I feel like once you're at the top, now it's like you have like an opportunity to at least help people make the climb easier. They still gotta make the climb, right? But at least be that, like, open a path for people to crawl up with you. You know what I mean? Kind of make it easier for everyone else to come up, kind of thing. And that's kind of like what I was trying to do with that podcast I made, you know. But I guess they took it the wrong way. Like, it's like I laid down the rope and he was like, "Screw you, man!" Like, you know.
Well, you gotta pick up the rope. Well, here's the thing, man. Like, I wouldn't give up on that. I'd still keep doing it. Your own people are gonna hate you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's gonna happen. People are going to hate you when you tell them the truth.
Yeah.
Not that long ago, I told someone that, and they're like, "You're cold. You're cold. You're being mean." And it's like, the truth isn't supposed to make you comfortable.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's supposed to be tough.
It's a hard thing to come across, and you just gotta take it. You can't play victim and wait for someone to save you. Dude.
Facts.
You can lay a path, but you have to climb, like you said, you have to climb up that rope, dude. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they
had to make climb.
They made the climb, and they opened doors, they set down a path. We just had to go down the path. Yeah. Right?
And with that being said, I feel like now there's like a next step now. Because I feel like Martin Luther and all those guys, they opened a path of like, okay, now we can vote and do all these things. And now I think the next step is where it comes to like, okay, let's start getting positions of power. So that now we can, like, you know what I mean? Show the world like, okay, we are capable, we can do it, you know what I mean? I feel like that's the next step. I feel like we're kind of past the protesting phase of stuff. I feel like now the next step is actually like getting up, making the climb. You know what I mean? I feel like Martin Luther and all them were like about okay, I think we can
put
make
the rope
this
down.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
The opportunity's there, dude. Like the problem is that now people are given there's a certain group of people who are given a chance to get up the road faster.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's an escalator
Yeah.
now where
Yeah.
it's like, you don't have to, you just go on an escalator or going up, and then there's people who have to climb.
Yeah.
And that's where privilege comes in. And there is freaking privilege. I don't care what anyone says, okay? There is there. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. When it comes to privilege, I don't think it is the history of privilege when it comes to systematically. I think it's been so normalized that it's come to a point where it's like people who are like, man, is that racism though? Is that? Maybe not. Maybe yourself is not. But the history of it is racist.
Yeah.
And because you're so generalized to it and so normalized that it's just a natural instinct. It's natural to you. So when you have another black person who's like, bro, this is privilege. This is not how it should be. Like, we should be given the opportunity to hop on that escalator. Like, no, that's not real. You just don't want to work hard. You're complaining. And don't get me wrong, there are people who just complain and who are, but it's there, right? So, again, I'm not saying that the victimization is like there are people who victimize themselves don't have anything to not make them victims, because it's all there. It's just why you staying there.
Yeah.
That's a problem that I have, right? I know that I know that I've experienced racism. I've experienced racism on both fronts. I know that there is a system that has been made to keep me down to the point where it's like even they don't know it's made to keep me down. But I'm not gonna victimize myself and wait for someone to recognize my crying and my like, hey, I'm going through this, and I'm not gonna. No, why would I do that? Why would I allow myself to be rescued by the people who put me there?
Yeah.
Right? No, I'm gonna.
It's like Batman, goes back to Batman again. He didn't wait for Bane to come and like, get him out of the.
That's crazy talk. Right? Like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for them to do that. No. Right? I'm gonna just stop crying. Like, don't be soft. I know that sounds cold, but like, I see it all the time. They're posting stuff on social media, and Black Lives Matter and stuff, which they do, and I'm not saying that movement is wrong, but when it becomes like a constant, like, this is now who I am, and that we can't get, when we were telling each other that we can't get to a certain place because of this, like, the systematic racism or racism period, or because the white man are trying to keep us there, we're not going to be happy people. We're going to stay in a place, and what's going to happen now is that we're now going to start throwing hands at each other. And anyone that's just like, you know what, screw this, I want to get out of here, I want to be like changed, then you got that whole group of people who are going to be like, fuck this guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He hasn't been through what we've been through. So he becomes the black sheep. The black sheep works his way up, and then you got the black sheep up here with his freaking ego and anger, and he's just like, fuck these guys. These guys didn't support me when I freaking, so why should I let down the freaking ladder?
Yeah. And that's the thing I was trying to get to with the black sheep, the guy that rises up, the Bruce Wayne that's supposed to. That's what I'm saying. I feel like once you get to that top, like, you know what I mean, like, a lot of times you see it, be like, no, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like it's like you gotta have that, like, and it comes back to like
humble.
Christianity too, where it's like, you gotta forgive and have that grace, and
Exactly.
let that rope down for
Let
everybody
that
else.
rope down, and they come up the rope. They want to stay bitter. They can stay bitter, but that's pretty much what I'm trying to get at. That's how this whole system has been working in our generation, right? You got guys who want to be victims, and you got guys who got out of it, but they're so angry and upset that they're like, no, I worked hard, And then you got that one black dude, and he's like, okay, I worked hard, and I got to this state. Maybe it's not racism. Maybe I just need to work harder. But no, you straight up did. You see what I'm saying? And it's like he's trained his mind so much now to the point because our own people have pointed fingers at him.
Yeah.
That he's trained his mind now that he's just like, no, there's not racism at all. I have opportunities for everybody. You see what I'm saying? But naturally, no. No, dude, you face there's a lot of black people where I'm like, no, bro, you face racism. I love the mentality that you have.
Yeah.
But you totally have. Sorry, to bust your bubble, buddy, but that was
You
perfect.
probably got called the name a couple times.
Yeah. You probably didn't hear it, but when you told that guy what's up and you closed that door, he was just like, naggers.
Yeah. It's like that one guy who goes into a fraternity and he's just all like, yeah, I'm the guy, young hoes and shit. He's like, yeah, I'm one of these guys. I didn't face anything. It's like, no, but they made you strip down naked and
You
you
for sure face racism, but what you did was you clouded that from your mindset and made it seem as if, like, you know what, like I made it to, I just needed to work hard. So if I can now work hard, they can just do it. The opportunity is there, and it is there.
Yeah.
There's just a different way that we've just been given kind of a different route.
Yeah.
Of how to get there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's where I think a lot of our generation, especially our generation, struggles with. Right? We're pointing fingers at each other so much.
Yeah.
That and then we get stuck, and then we get angry with each other. And that one guy that makes it out is like, "Fuck these guys, man."
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like I definitely agree with that, like that both way kind of thing where it's like the guy who makes it out, he's got the responsibility to give, great power, great responsibility. He has the power to give that rope down, and then the people on the below side, they gotta understand, like, okay, like I can't just like victimize. Like it's like that two-way.
Like imagine you got out, like you're Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
You got out of that hole, and then you have that rope.
Yeah.
And every one of those guys are like, "Fuck you!" Like, you think you're better than us?
Yeah.
Screw you. You're the white man's pet.
Yeah.
You know how hard it would be for people to be, you know what? Screw you, man. I am the white man's pet. Peace out. And they, you know what? Screw you. You know what? I'm out. You may think that it's like hard, that it'd be easy for someone to be like, no, I'm gonna ignore that, put it down. But it's actually harder than you think.
Yeah.
Especially,
I just showed you guys those. It's hard. It takes
hard.
strength.
It takes strength for that, dude. Imagine like everyone saying that you are not going to be accepted, and you are stuck in one place, and you're not gonna rise up because the system's been put against you. And every time you mention that you have an ambition or a goal, they're like, no, that's white. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And then when you do it, their response is, no, you don't go through what I go through. You've been given a privilege that we don't have.
Yeah.
Your mind's going to cloud that out. It's naturally going to be like, no, you know what? Maybe the privilege is there, maybe the opportunity is there. It's just not me.
Mm-hmm.
And the opportunity is there. I just need to work hard, and then these guys just need to work hard. So I don't need to put the rope down. They just need to get out of their ass.
Mm-hmm.
But you actually should
put the rope down. Yeah, I feel like when you get to that spot, like you got it. You know what I mean? Like it's like I feel like that's the whole point, is to get to the point where it's like you climb the thing, right? You get to the top, and then you help people get up there with you. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's the whole purpose of it, because I feel like there's room at the top. Like it's like this weird selfish thing where like they want to gatekeep, and now I'm at the top now. Screw all you guys. Like literally, screw you.
Yeah. How did I help you? I did it. You can do it too.
But it's like,
you won't make it there if I just give it to you.
Yeah.
You won't if you don't suffer the way I suffered, then none of you can have it. It's
Oh
like,
God, but the point is like, yo, you got to this point so that you make it easier. They still gotta climb, don't get me wrong. But it's like you gotta make it a little bit easier for these guys, you know, because you paved the way so they didn't have to. Like if you look at even in like the Bible and stuff like Moses, he led his people out of the I mean he had to do the work, he had to hit the rod and shit.
look how many of Moses' people hated him.
Yeah.
Right? The Bible has so many answers. I don't care what people say, bro.
Yeah.
The Bible has so much answers. And it actually has answers to all these stuff. And that's another thing. Like, look at Moses. God chose him to lead the Hebrews out of Egypt, out of slavery, bro.
Yeah.
Out of slavery. But look at the amount of hate. Moses got more hate from his own people than he did to those who were enslaving his people. That says a lot. But he said, screw that. And his people made it to the promised land.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Look at Jesus.
Yeah.
Look at Jesus. Who, at the end of the day, wanted Jesus dead? It was the Jews. They crucified Jesus. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But Jesus set a path for not just everybody. He set a path, not just for Jews, sorry, but he set a path for everybody. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's what I think we should do with our people, right? But it's just a matter if we take the path, dude, instead of doing.
Yeah.
You're not a real black person. You're white. That's where that comes from, man.
Yeah.
That statement. That's why I hate that statement so much. There's been so many times where before I was married, where I went on a date with someone, and that whenever they said that to me, dude, gone. I'm not good. I'm not for
your
it.
boundaries.
I know. And so many people have been, why? Why are you getting mad at that? Because I know the history of that statement.
Yeah.
It's not a good statement to look at your other fellow person and you're white. What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
You know, like, that's so degrading to say to your own people.
Yeah.
To me, it's like almost no different than going to someone calling them the N-word.
Yeah.
Right? But now you're black, and instead of calling them that, you're like, you're white. Like, okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Are you saying that because I fucking can speak proper English?
Yeah.
that I think I'm meant. No, it's not. I'm just
being yourself.
Being myself.
Yeah. Like it's crazy, man. Yeah, definitely, I really enjoyed this conversation, man. Like it was definitely insightful even for myself, you know what I mean? Just like because like it kind of opened my eyes to like that whole idea of like, you know, being, because for example, like climbing the whole rope thing and seeing that whole like, I'm not gonna lie, in my head I was kind of like, screw these guys back, you know what I mean?
Bro, it's harder than you think. It's harder than you think. Than people think it's so easy to just be like that guy who put the rope down, but no, especially when all the people around you who should have been supportive of you have been putting you down. It's harder to do that. It takes a special person to do. You may think you are that guy, but it's hard to be that guy. You can't tell me in your lifetime where you're just like, no, I told you this was gonna happen and you shut me down and this is what we needed to do and now I made it and instead of me helping you, I'm just gonna say, fuck you, look at my success.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. Like I definitely feel that urge inside of me, but I just have to remember like the bigger picture, you know? I'm like, man, you guys doubted and hated, but I gotta just let it down, you know?
Let it down. Let it down. You thank me later.
Thank me later. No, I feel that, but yeah, I feel like we've got about, we pretty much already had we got a lot of content in here, but I think we'll just probably ended.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was
Thank you
great.
for having me, man.
Yeah, man.
Good shit. Good shit.
It was a good episode. Like,
Yeah.
we definitely like covered a lot.
All that stuff. And
Yeah.
hopefully people can learn and
Yeah.
get in. So.
Yeah. With that being said, do you want to tell people where they can find you and all that good stuff?
Instagram.
I'll link that in the.
Mostly the only like thing. Yeah, like Combat Panther _777. No, wait, no, it changed. Bro, you'll link me.
I'll link it
Instagram.
Link in description.
Link in description for sure.
Yeah.
Alright.
But yeah, make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hold on, how do I end this? I always struggle like, how do I end this thing? Ah, here it is. Cancel. Nope. Didn't end yet.